cloudy, patchy fog in the morning.
Thanks for joining us on Weather Nation. We take you to Louisville, Kentucky and Chicago, Illinois. A couple of spots that are going to be looking at the potential for some strong storms as we go into this week. Thursday, Friday specifically, that we are tracking out for you. So let's tell you the forecast as we watch this low move across the country. That's what's going to be helping to bring all these storms our direction. A lot of temperatures across this part of the country are toasty right now. So much so we're breaking records. So that's helping to build that energy and that instability across the region over the next couple of days. So our severe outlooks Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Quite a few different spots here included, all within that system that's going to be pushing east. But I do want to take some time to focus on Thursday and Friday. We've got your Storm Prediction Center outlook dealing with severe weather from Duluth all the way out to Pittsburgh, stretching all the way down through Little Rock, Louisville, Chicago, Green Bay, all included all the way up into the UP of Michigan. It is this frontal boundary that we're going to be watching. And notice the timeline here. Right around lunchtime Thursday, you've got a couple of those storms that start to fire up. More numerous along and ahead of that front by the 5-6 o'clock hour. And we'll continue to watch storms push off to the east. And you'll notice that next round starting to come in by Friday. So let's show you where those areas are. Expecting to see the potential for those stronger storms come Friday. Memphis, Poplar Bluff, Lexington, Evansville, Nashville, Tennessee. On Friday, you will be under that risk to see those stronger storms. We've also got the heavy rainfall component of things. So isolated flooding up into the northern plains Thursday, holding on to some isolated flooding potential as we follow those storms Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday, Little Rock, Memphis, Charleston. Right now, it does look like really those heavier showers and downpours are going to be across North and South Dakota. But if you take a look at parts of the Ohio Valley, you've got the potential of some widespread 2 to 3 inches of rainfall here as well. So we're 2 days out from some of these stronger storms being possible. You want to check that forecast for updates at least twice a day to make sure you're getting the most up-to-date information, and check on what category you're in based on your city to think of where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing, the timeline here of these storms. If you're supposed to be out and about, maybe you can push some of those plans a little bit to make sure that you are staying safe. Chicago, Illinois, Wednesday, Thursday will be the busy days for you. If you're already looking ahead to the weekend, temperatures a bit more mild, closer to seasonal, and even a little bit cooler than seasonal as we head into Sunday. Madison, Wisconsin, couple days of active weather and storms. Then this weekend, high 60s, right around normal is what you can expect with those temperatures going through this week. But as we talk about the Storm Prediction Center, as we talk about severe storms, we want to take you through some of those SPC categories. Here is more with meteorologist Rob Bradley.
Severe storm outlooks have 5 categories, ranging from marginal to high, signifying a threat for impactful storms. These forecasts come from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. The 5 risk categories all relate to the probability of a severe weather event within 25 miles of any given location. The outlook also factors in how widespread an event might be, combined with the intensity. The National Weather Service defines a severe thunderstorm as having wind gusts of at least 58 miles per hour, hail at least 1 inch in diameter, and or a tornado. A marginal risk means storms will be spotty and typically will be limited in duration and or intensity. Even though it's on the lower end, tornadoes are still possible. A slight risk means severe storms could be more scattered, with the possibility of being short-lived but more intense at times. This means you could have a few storms that produce tornadoes as well as several areas of wind damage. An enhanced risk means there's a possibility for numerous severe storms. There could be areas of hail and or wind damage, and a few tornadoes could form. Moderate risk means severe thunderstorms will be more widespread within the highlighted area, longer-lived, and even more intense than the first 3 categories. This category is issued less frequently and typically means there's potential for strong tornadoes and more extensive wind damage. Then there's the fifth category, which is high risk. Storms are expected to be damaging and on a larger scale. We typically see stronger tornadoes and long-lived damaging winds on these high-risk days. Just remember, severe storms can happen anywhere, any time of day. That's why it's important to always stay with Weather Nation when there's any threat for severe weather. For Weather Nation, I'm meteorologist Rob Bradley.
All right, always good to know what category you're in as we get into the severe season. Oklahoma City, though, they're no stranger to storms. I guess recently you might have been. Sunday looking nice and bright, and even more sunshine in the Cross Lake, Minnesota, as some of the water running on down river. Yeah, river's going to look mighty nice as we get into this afternoon, as hot as things have been in that part of the country. North Dakota down toward South Dakota, looking at the mid to upper 90s. I mean, we were setting a healthy number of record high temperatures yesterday afternoon. Going to be the ballpark of it today. Maybe not quite as many, but still running 25 to 30 degrees above average as we get into this afternoon. Tomorrow is going to be one more hot day to get into Sioux Falls, and then we finally break the heat. At least here, we're almost kind of, you're kind of pushing down on the one hot spot, and another one crops up. Southern Plains is going to be up next as we start out today into and through about the next week or so. Big Ridge is going to be in charge as we get this far to the south, and that's where trouble starts. Again, especially this time of year, it'd be great during the winter. Don't get me wrong, it'll warm us up nicely when we kind of need it. Too warm now. We're talking about triple digits, easy. Could be looking at about 110 degrees where you got a heat advisory. Extreme heat impacts are what we're expecting, which means, we could be talking about power outages in the Lone Star State. Give it here, we got your West Regional next.
How are we going to play this guy? Hard or soft?
Depends on how many flights of stairs we have to go up. Nash Bridges. This is my partner, Joe Dominguez.
Are we in the right place? I keep getting lost around here. I need you alive, Eldon.
I need you dead.
Wow.
What'd I miss?
Spirits, they're everywhere.
I felt like it wanted to cling to me.
In that moment, I was truly scared.
The only proof we have are the stories. Experience firsthand accounts of the unexplained.
When I looked up, I wasn't alone.
Investigate with experts in the paranormal.
There is something evil here for sure.
Because somewhere out there, the truth is waiting.
For the following counties, in Maryland, Allegheny, and Garrett, and Mineral, West Virginia. Flood warning in effect until 6:45 p.m. this evening. Small stream flooding caused by excessive rainfall is expected. The areas affected include portions of western Maryland, including the following counties: Allegheny and Garrett, and eastern West Virginia, including the following county: Mineral. The hazardous weather conditions are expected until 6:45 p.m. Tuesday. Impact, flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations is imminent or occurring. Streams continue to rise due to excess runoff from earlier rainfall. Additional details at 12:41 p.m. Doppler radar indicated heavy rain due to thunderstorms. Flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly in the warned area. Between 1.5 and 2.5 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts up to 0.5 inches are possible in the warned area. Some locations that will experience flooding include Cumberland, Frostburg, Kaiser, Bel-Air, Longvale, Fort Ashby, Lamington, Ridgely, Crescenttown, Potomac Park, Wiley Ford, Eckhart Mines, Mount Savage, Rawlings, Ellerslie, Corriganville, Midlothian, Woodland, Spring Cap. Please visit www.weather.gov/safety/flood for flood safety and preparedness information. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur current vehicles. Inventorying there are hundreds of low water crossings which are potentially dangerous in heavy rain. Do not attempt to cross flooded roads. Find an alternate route.
I'll take you back to Sunday where we had some storms rolling through Montana. It's kind of been a similar setup the last few days where we have the heat in place and we get those afternoon rumbles of thunder, and still could be expecting some stronger storms into the afternoon today, but then weather conditions should slowly start to improve. But we do still have moisture available, so we'll have more low elevation rain and some mountain snow. So we do have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings that are in place, and can't rule out a few areas under a severe weather outlook for the second half of the day today. But we've had a low pressure center work on shore over the last day, and it's pulling in some cooler air from the north. So temperatures have dialed back quite a bit after record-breaking heat throughout Sunday afternoon, even into Monday, a few areas getting close to records. But now we're starting to feel the big cool down. So temperature-wise across the board, Billings 67 degrees, Seattle 66, Eugene you're at 63. So Billings, you were in the 80s to start off the week. Now you're in the 60s, likely going to be in the 50s for the day tomorrow. So we still have that heat out across the eastern plains, areas like Casper 81, but those temperatures will be dialing back over the next couple of days. So with the warmer temperatures that we've had, we've dealt with a lot of snow melt, and now we're going to get some more rain on top of that, along with some fresh snow for the high peaks, and that's going to cause dynamic river level changes. So if you live in a flood-prone area or along a river, creek, or stream bed, you might want to take note of how that river is behaving over the next couple of days, because there might be an influx of water very quickly. Now, temperatures, at least for Billings, has dialed back to more seasonable levels, and we're going to kind of fluctuate right around seasonable for the next week or so. So we shouldn't be dealing with the extreme heat, at least this far out west. But other areas could definitely have a good amount of rain, and that can also play a role in the river levels. But we do have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings that are in place. The winter storm warnings are in effect through tomorrow morning. We could be picking up 1 to 2 feet of snow above about 7,000 feet. So still some impressive late season snow possible with this last system, and some scattered rain showers will linger through the day today. So that low bringing in plenty of moisture, and as that system continues to make its way to the east, the frontal boundary likely to kick up the chance for some strong storms. Now, the biggest concern will be hail, as those storms can tap into some cooler air aloft, but can't rule out some damaging winds, and a spin-up tornado also can't be ruled out, but the ingredients just not as likely that we'll have a ton of tornado activity across the western Dakotas, eastern Montana, and Wyoming. But widespread rain will continue throughout the overnight, then into Wednesday. That's when that snow really kicks up into the start of the day, and then even into the afternoon. It's those diurnal storms that we'll be tracking here for the next several days. So pretty soggy here, even Cheyenne, Wyoming. Several days of rain before temperatures try to warm up Saturday, but then we're going to get pushed back down to the 60s. Let's take it down a little bit farther to the south and have a check-in with the southwest.
Yeah, places like San Francisco, you can see the old clouds bubbling on through as we got into, the Golden State. You don't often talk about some shower chances out west, at least that far west, out into California. We have over the last couple of days. Now, largely, we're probably staying dry as we get into California going forward. It's more par for the course. But there is some cooler weather out there to be found, quite a bit of it. As a matter of fact, you can look, not too far west if you're in Colorado, or if you're in Utah, it's right on top of you. 59 degrees in Salt Lake City, 60 degrees for a high in Cedar City. Yeah, it's a cold front. There it is. And all the moisture is buried back behind this thing as we get into this afternoon. So a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. We'll rule that out. A bit of snowfall into the higher elevations. It'll be what we're tracking later today. All of that kind of carries east and gets into Colorado. And yeah, it looks like the I-25 corridor. We'll be getting at least a shot at some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder tomorrow for our Wednesday. Looks like we're doing this all over again on Thursday as some of that energy still kind of lingering around. A couple of inches of snowfall. Again, you got to get pretty high up in elevation to be talking about stuff like that, but you know, it's something that it's going to be on the board for us as we get into the northern four corners because of how much cool air there is. I mean, look at that. We're locked in the 50s. Can't even get back to 60 degrees in the Salt Lake City. Overnight lows dipping down into the 40s. So it's going to be a little chilly out there as we get toward the middle of May. Hopefully we can get some of this cooler weather a little further south. Doesn't look like it's doing a great job. Roswell up to 94 degrees, winds 25 to 30 miles per hour. Yep, we've read this book before, haven't we? Critical risk for some fire weather concerns into today as well as tomorrow, basically in the same spot. Not a lot in terms of real meaningful rainfall, if anything, into that extended forecast. So again, our thoughts with those firefighters. It's been a tough start to the season, wildfire season out there. Saturday we're into the 90s in Phoenix. A little cooler though, Sunday into Monday. So hopefully next week we can keep that cool trend going down in Arizona and New Mexico. Could certainly use it. Out west, again, where you saw some of those scary looking clouds back towards San Francisco. Staying dry as we get into today. If you get up into the Sierra Nevada mountains, it's a bit of a different story. You can see, again, you'll see the dark skies as you look east into this afternoon. Might see it again tomorrow as some of these showers kind of bubble up into the heat of the day, but generally speaking, down into the lower elevations where more of us are, you know, we're staying quiet. Upper 60s for us here as we get into Wednesday and Thursday in San Francisco. Back into the low 70s we go as we get into Los Angeles, but hey, we'll take the 70s now. Yeah, we got a good reminder last weekend what we can do when we mess around with old Mother Nature. Got to near 100 degrees. Staying dry here as well as we get into Southern California. Hey, that's your Western regional forecast here. Always going to be airing at 50 past the hour. If you need your Central regional forecast, that's coming up at half past the hour.
We are joined today by the FGTV boys. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up, guys? How you doing?
I had to play me a game with some bop in it.
A game with bop in it.
There's some game with some bop in it.
Can you direct your attention to the screen, please?
Welcome to regular ass dinosaur park.
Where the fuck are they?
It was Ezekiel and I killed bugs.
That's a great idea. Let's get cooking.
What a smell, what a taste.
That looks delicious.
Isn't that fantastic? Seriously wonderful. Dig in. Delicious. That just tastes brilliant. I might have a bit more.
Calling all Tyler Perry fans.
This is gonna be fun.
Your favorite hit dramas in one place, 24/7.
Wait, what?
It's a wild ride. On BET, Tyler Perry drama.
Issue the flash flood warning for western Allegheny County in western Maryland, northeastern Garrett County in western Maryland, northeastern Monroe County in eastern West Virginia until 6:45 p.m. At 12:57 p.m., Doppler radar and stream gauges are indicating heavy rain, producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 2 and 3.5 inches of rain have fallen. The expected rainfall rate is 0.5 to 1.5 inches in 1 hour. Additional rainfall amounts of 0.5 to 1.5 inches are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is already occurring. Hazard: flash flooding caused by heavy rain. Source: radar. Impact: flash flooding of small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses, as well as other poor drainage and low-lying areas. Some locations that will experience flash flooding include Cumberland, Frostburg, Kaiser, Bel Air, Waldale, Fort Ashby, Lamacting, Ridgely, Crescenttown, Woodswood Park, Wiley Ford, Eckhart Mines, Mount Savage, Rawlings, Ellerslie, Quarry Indo, Midland, Midland monitoring flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Be aware of your surroundings and do not drive on flooded roads. In between 0 and 100 of low water crossings which are potentially dangerous in heavy rain.
Yes, Sawyer
Do
looking.
not attempt to cross flooded roads.
Dare I say?
Find an alternate route.
In the coat, yeah. This had to have been taken back when because it doesn't rain that much here in Colorado, so this had to have been a couple of days ago there in Parker, Colorado. But yeah,
So cute.
wet pavement out there as always. You know, a good reminder. Send us those cute furry videos here as we get into that furball forecast. Hey, we might have some more wet doggos here. Let's talk about that as we get into parts of the southeast here. Big, strong cutoff upper level low has been largely sparking a lot of trouble, right, over the last couple of days. And we've seen that in a couple of different forms, right? We've got severe chances galore, a lot of heavy rainfall yesterday. Look at some of these numbers coming out of Florida in the last 24, 36 hours. Some of us surpassed 6 to 7 inches of some rainfall. Others, maybe they didn't quite get there, but you saw enough to see a record for daily rainfall. This is that same look, that water vapor imagery. You just can kind of just imagine all that moisture getting pulled in the front side of things. The warm sector, you might have heard us talking about, that's where that severe threat oftentimes looms as well. And we're going to be watching out as we get into the next couple of days here, not only for the heavy rainfall, persistent stuff that's overwhelming some of the soils, a shot at some storms here, the brighter yellows where we're going to be expecting a severe thunderstorm warning or two from Roanoke down to Raleigh to Wilmington, where we already had issues throughout much of the morning. The other spot we're watching is Memphis to about Birmingham. And both of those, you can see a spin-up tornado, a brief one at that. You're not expecting a severe weather outbreak by any means. Let's time that out for you as we get into the rest of this afternoon. You can see, again, it's kind of sporadic coverage. It's not everywhere necessarily, but something that we're going to be, just keeping an eye on as we get into the mid-Atlantic states and parts of the southeast. Not only today, tomorrow as well, we could be looking out for some damaging winds on top of everything. So, got to keep that in mind here. The heavy rainfall threat, though, is probably the biggest one that we're going to be tracking into the mid-Atlantic states. Could be talking about pockets of 3 to 4 to 5 inches here over the next 2 days. Behind all this, hey, at least it's nice and quiet, cool, comfortable in the 70s until we kick all the rain out of here. And then we're jumping into the 80s here. It's going to get worse, though, for some folks as we talk about some of that heat. Want to bring Tabon back in here and talk about some more exciting times here. We take you live to St. Thomas out in the U.S. Virgin Islands earlier. It looks okay. It looks kind of a little gloomy.
Maybe a little. I would still rather be there, though.
Oh, yeah, it's better than here.
Gorgeous. I can see better, but it does look beautiful. I love a good, beach hang. And we're only about 19 days away from the Atlantic hurricane season, which means we got to talk preparedness. We got to bring you up to speed on what we could potentially expect for this season. Right now,
thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area.
But we do have some
Between 2 and 3.5 inches of rain has fallen. The expected rainfall rate is 0.5 to 1.5 inches in 1 hour. Additional rainfall amounts of 0.5 to 1.5 inches are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is already occurring. Hazard, life-threatening flash flooding. Thunderstorms producing flash flooding. Source, radar. Impact, life-threatening flash flooding of creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses. Some locations that will experience flash flooding include Cumberland, Frostburg, Ellington, Bel-Air, Longvale, Fort Ashby, Lammating, Ridgely, Chesapeake, Potomac Park, Wiley Ford, Eckhart Mines, Mount Savage, Rawlings, Ellerslie, Corriganville, Midland, Midlothian, Woodland, Spring Gap. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Be aware of your surroundings and do not drive on flooded roads. Inventorying 0 hundreds of low water crossings which are potentially dangerous in heavy rain.
to look out
Not
for
attempt
as
to
we
cross
start to
flooded
head
roads.
closer and closer into the
Find an
season. But of
alternate
course,
route.
we don't see the peak until
The
September.
National Weather Service in Sterling, Virginia has issued a flash flood warning for southwestern Allegheny County in western Maryland, central Garrett County in western Maryland, southwestern Mineral County in eastern West Virginia until 6:30 p.m.
Remains
At
the
1
same.
p.m., local law enforcement reported heavy rain across the warned area. Between 2 and 3.5 inches of rain have fallen.
In the forecast,
Additional rainfall amounts of 0.5 to 1.5 inches are possible in the warned area.
with non-perishable
Flash flooding is already occurring.
documents, prescriptions,
Hazard,
and covered
life-threatening
items.
flash flooding.
Charge your devices ahead of
Heavy
time.
rain producing flash flooding.
Without power
Source,
and water
law
for up to
enforcement
2
reported.
weeks. Whether
Impact,
static or
life-threatening
evacuated,
flash
it is
flooding of
essential
creeks
to let
and
your family
streams,
and friends
urban
away
areas,
from the storm
highways,
know your
streets, and
plans.
underpasses.
If you're unable to leave
Some
and choose to
locations
ride
that will
out the storm,
experience flash
here are a
flooding
few
include
tips.
Kaiser, West
Stay
Bridgeport,
in the most
Piedmont,
interior
Elk
room of
Garden,
your home,
Miller,
away from
Mark,
windows, doors, and
Franklin,
exterior
Luke,
walls
Warnock,
where debris can
New
reach
Creek,
you.
Sulphur City,
Make sure
Reynolds,
everyone has shoes
Morrieville,
on and
McCool,
bring your emergency
Antioch,
prep kit with
Bridgeville,
you. If your
Hartmansville,
home starts to
Broadwood
flood,
Flat,
head to the
Surround,
highest level,
don't
but
turn
not
when
the attic.
encountering
You
flooded
could get
roads.
trapped there.
Most
Remember,
flood deaths occur
don't
in
let the
vehicles.
eye of a hurricane fool
Be
you.
aware of
Stay
your
in your safe
surroundings and
place
do not
until the
drive
storm
on
has
flooded
fully
roads.
passed.
Inventory millimeters of low water crossings which are potentially dangerous in heavy rain.
They need to
Do
immediately
not
begin
attempt to
to
cross
burn
flooded
damage
roads.
to their dwelling. The
Find an
floodwater
alternate
damage
route.
could have come from any
This is a statement from the National Weather
and to make
Service.
sure that they're documented.
Flood watch in effect from 8 a.m. this morning through Wednesday morning.
Outside of the
Flooding
home
caused
and
by
use
excessive
them in
rainfall
dry,
is possible.
well-ventilated areas.
The areas affected include a portion of central Pennsylvania, including the following counties: Adams, Bedford, Blair, Franklin, Fulton, Huntington, and Somerset.
For more
The
tips on how to
hazardous
stay
weather
safe
conditions
before,
are
during,
expected
and
from 8
after the
a.m. this
storm,
morning through Wednesday morning.
WeatherNationTV.com.
Impact.
WeatherNation,
Excessive runoff may result in flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations.
The truth about DIY
Flooding
is
may occur in poor drainage and urban areas.
TikTok videos.
Additional details: a prolonged period of moderate to heavy rain is expected today and tonight.
Started here.
Rainfall amounts of 2 to 4 inches are likely, with locally higher amounts possible along the eastern slopes of the Alleghenies. This rainfall may lead to scattered instances of flooding.
So whenever you start a project,
www.weather.gov/safety/flood. You should monitor latest forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action if flooding develops. This is a statement from the National Weather Service. Flood watch remains in effect through late tonight. Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. The areas affected include portions of Virginia, including the following areas: Albemarle, Augusta, Central Virginia Blue Ridge, Eastern Highlands, Greene, Madison, Nelson, Northern Virginia Blue Ridge, Page, Rappahannock, Rockingham, Shenandoah, Warren, Western Highland, and Eastern West Virginia, including the following areas: Eastern Grant, Eastern Pendleton, Hardy, Western Grant, and Western Pendleton. The hazardous weather conditions are expected through late tonight. Impact. Excessive runoff may result in flooding of creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations. Low water crossings may be flooded. Additional details: a prolonged period of moderate to heavy rain showers with embedded thunderstorms is expected through this evening. Rainfall amounts of 2 to 4 inches are likely, with locally higher amounts possible along the eastern slopes of the Blue Ridge and Allegheny Mountains. This rainfall may lead to scattered instances of flooding. Please visit www.weather.gov/safety/flood for flood safety and preparedness information. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be
Man, you didn't activate.
should flooding develop. This is a statement from the National Weather Service.
Oh, what the hell?
Flood watch remains in effect through late tonight. Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. The areas affected include portions of D.C., including the following:
Don't think I left the San Gian running. I don't know. What the heck happened here?
Central and Eastern
I see we got an FFW, but what the heck happened here? Okay, that's weird. Well, my CyanoGen at least was supposed to. It was supposed to detect the same headers, but okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and I'm going to go and clip that FFW. So that's gonna be it for me.